In this video, we'll be looking at using Google Forms to gain lesson feedback. We'll learn how to create a Google form as a quiz, send the quiz to your pupils, and analyse the results with charts and graphs. You'll need a G Suite for Education account, Chrome devices for pupils, and you'll get more out of this if you have Google Classroom set up as well. Let's start by going to Google Forms. If you're using a Chromebook, you can open it from your app launcher, or you can type forms.google.com into the address bar. You'll now see that there are lots of templates to choose from, but for today, we're going to choose blank. Now you'll be greeted by a blank, untitled form, and the first thing we're going to want to do is give our form a name. Simply click on Untitled Form and type. I'm going to be testing my pupils' knowledge on the topic of volcanoes, so unsurprisingly, I'm going to call this quiz Volcanoes Quiz. I can also add a description, something basic like test your knowledge on what we have learned today. Before we go any further, it's really important to look at the settings. For this demo, we want to collect email addresses, which means that our pupils' names will be collected without them having to type them manually. We also want to limit each account to just one response. In the Presentation tab, we can shuffle the question order and set a custom confirmation message. How about, "Thank you. Now tidy away and get ready for lunch, please." In the Quizzes tab, we're going to enable Make This a Quiz, which allows Google Forms to mark questions for you. You could also enable locked mode on Chromebooks if you want to create a test environment for your quiz. We're going to go ahead and hide correct answers so that pupils can't cheat. Now we can begin writing questions. I'm going to put tick the layers of Earth. Notice how as I type this, Google Forms selects the question type automatically based on my input. I'll also add my answers: mantle, crust, and core. And one incorrect answer as well: magma. Now we need to click on Answer key to tell Google Forms which answers are correct. I'm just going to tick the corresponding boxes, and I'll make this question worth 3 points. We'll go back to Edit Question, and we can also click the menu button to shuffle the order that the answers appear in. Most importantly, we're going to make this question required so that it can't be skipped. Now on to the next question. I'll put, write the name of the largest volcano in the world. This time Google Forms has changed the question to a text field because of what I have written. We can use the answer key again, but bear in mind the limitation here is that Google Forms will mark spelling or typing mistakes as incorrect. But we'll look at how we can work around this problem later. In case you didn't know, the answer is Mauna Loa. Finally, I'll give it a single point and go back and mark this question as required. Now we'll add one more question. And for our final question, we want our pupils to score how comfortable they feel with this topic on a scale of 1 to 5. Again, Google Forms has automatically given us a linear scale. We'll mark 1 as not at all comfortable and 5 as completely comfortable. Now we don't need to use the answer key here, as there's no right or wrong answer, but what we're still going to do is mark the question as required. Now that we're done here, it's time to make the quiz a little bit more fun. We can add lots of extra content to our quiz, such as YouTube videos, extra text, for example. But what we're going to do is add an image. I'll click on the image icon, then search, and now I can search Google for a picture I like. I'll just click this image of a volcano here, click select, and now I'm going to grab it and drag it to the top. I'm also going to click the colour palette at the top right and change the theme colour and background colour to something that better suits the topic of volcanoes. Finally, I'll change the font to something that's a little bit more child-friendly. Now, our work is saved in Drive automatically, so now it's time to send out the form. There are two ways of doing this. We could click Send and either send it via email or copy a link to give to someone. But a better solution would be to use the Share to Classroom extension. To do this, you'll need to have Google Classroom set up, and if you don't have the extension already, you can get it from the Chrome Web Store. We'll start by clicking the eye icon to see a preview of our quiz, and from here we can click Share to Classroom icon, choose the class we want to send to, and click Push. Within seconds, the form will be on every Chromebook in your classroom, provided that they're signed in as students in your class. Once you get some responses, you'll be able to view them on the edit screen, both historical and in real time. For the purposes of this tutorial, I simulated the quiz responses, so there aren't any real names here. However, when you receive your results, you should get pupil names too. I'll click the Responses tab, and I can see that I have 9 responses. This summary page gives us a general insight into performance on each question. I can hover over parts of the charts and graphs to get some more detail. The grey rectangular icon allows me to copy the chart, and I can see here that nobody has selected 2 on the scale of 1 to 5, for example. The Question tab allows me to view individual answers to the selected question. I can see who has got all of the answers correct and who has missed a few. I can manually edit scores that Google Forms has got wrong as well. Once I've finished this, it's important that I click the Save button at the bottom of the page. If we move on to the next question, you'll remember that this was the text box one. Now, the pupil has spelt Mauna Loa incorrectly, but we can change the score here if we want to. And we could also leave some feedback for the pupil, such as, correct, but check spelling next time. There's also the ability to add a link or YouTube video for further learning. Remember to click Save both on the Add Feedback box and at the bottom of the page. Finally, the Individual tab allows me to see full answers on a per-pupil basis. If we go back to the summary, we can see that insights have updated automatically. Now, while all of the pre-generated graphs and charts in Google Forms are great, we could take this a step further. By clicking on the green Google Sheets icon at the top of the page, we can export our results into a spreadsheet. We have our total scores here, and remember that in your version pupil names will be included too. We can add charts by highlighting the information, clicking Insert, then choosing Chart, and drag it around the page like so. Let's try something else. If we select all of the answers here, choose Insert, then Chart, we've got another bar chart here. It's nice, but by going to the chart editor, we could turn this into a pie chart. And you can see that Google Sheets has populated this pie chart automatically with a title. I can plot different pieces of information against each other just by highlighting it all, choosing Insert, and then Chart. After a while, you'll have put a lot of work into your Google Forms, so thankfully, there's a great feature that allows you to recycle your questions. If we go back to the Google Forms homepage and create a new blank form, now we'll give it a quick name. How about Great Fire of London? We can import a pre-made question by clicking the import icon, selecting the relevant form, and we now have the option to import either all or just some of the questions into our new quiz. I think that question there will suit nicely. And there it is. Alternatively, You could find the original Google form in your Google Drive. Double-click it to open it again, and then send it out just as you did before. If you prefer, you can right-click on the file in Google Drive and create a copy. This means that the results that are received from the form will be separate. To find out more about what cloud computing can do for your school, visit us at 123cloudsolutions.co.uk.